How do we treat people when we think no one important is watching? What you're about to hear isn't a documented event, but it's an inspirational story that feels like it could be. It's a modern fable about a person's true worth, reminding us that it's not defined by a bank account or fancy clothes, but by the character within. This is a story about what happens when integrity is put to the test, and how one small act of kindness can end up changing everything. It's the story of a reclusive CEO who had lost his way, and the one person who showed him the path back. The evening rush at the Gilded Spoon, a restaurant known more for its steep prices than its soul, was just kicking off. An old man, his face etched with exhaustion and his clothes tattered and worn, pushed open the heavy glass door. He looked like he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He hadn't even taken a second step inside before a sharp-suited manager named Mark cut him off, his face a perfect mask of disgust and impatience. "Can I help you?" Mark's tone was cold, his arms crossed like a barrier. I was just hoping to get something warm to eat," the old man said, his voice quiet and raspy. Mark looked him up and down, a sneer twisting his lips. "I'm afraid you're in the wrong place. This is a fine dining establishment, and we have a certain clientele to maintain. There's a soup kitchen a few blocks from here. You should try there." He gestured dismissively toward the door, already turning away as if the man no longer existed. The old man just nodded, his shoulders slumping, and retreated back into the cold street. From behind the counter, a young waitress named Clara saw the whole thing. Her heart ached for the old man. She knew Mark's cruelty all too well. He was a manager who cared about appearances more than anything, constantly reminding the staff that the restaurant's image was all that mattered. Later, in the staff room, Mark was actually boasting about it. "You have to be firm with people like that. Let one in, and the whole place goes downhill. It's just bad for business." He glanced around, looking for approval. A few servers nodded nervously, not wanting to get on his bad side. But Clara couldn't keep quiet. "He was just an old man who looked hungry, Mark. He wasn't hurting anyone." Mark scoffed. "Clara, your job is to serve our paying customers, not to worry about every stray who wanders in. Honestly, your bleeding heart is a liability in a place like this. Just stick to taking orders." He said it loud enough for everyone to hear, a clear warning. Clara's cheeks flushed with anger and embarrassment, but she bit her tongue. She was barely making ends meet, working double shifts to help with her mother's mounting medical bills. She couldn't afford to lose this job, no matter how much she hated it. An hour later, Clara was on her short, 10-minute break. Glancing out the front window, she saw the old man, huddled on a nearby park bench and shivering in the biting wind. He hadn't gone to the soup kitchen. He was just sitting there, all alone. Without a second thought, Clara marched to the kitchen. She ordered a bowl of their thickest vegetable soup and a bread roll, paying for it with the few dollars she had in her pocket, the money she had been saving for her bus fare home. She walked outside, the cold air hitting her face, and approached the bench cautiously. "Excuse me, sir?" The old man looked up, surprised to see the waitress from inside. "I saw what happened earlier," Clara said softly, holding out the bag. "I thought you might still be hungry. It's not much, but it's warm." He just stared at her, then at the bag, his eyes clouding over with an emotion she couldn't quite place. You bought this for me? Everyone deserves a little warmth," she replied with a small, sad smile. "Please, take it." He accepted the bag, his cold fingers brushing against hers. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you. But why? Your manager, he wouldn't be happy about this." Clara shrugged, pulling her thin jacket tighter. "Some things are more important than a manager's approval. My mom always taught me that kindness doesn't have a price tag. You just do it because it's the right thing to do." As Arthur unwrapped the soup, the steam warmed his face. "You have a good mother." Clara's smile wavered. "She's a good person. She's sick right now, and well, I'm doing my best." She hadn't meant to share that, but something about the old man's gentle gaze made her feel safe. They sat in silence for another moment before Clara had to rush back inside, leaving him alone with his soup and his thoughts. The next afternoon, a sleek black car pulled up in front of the Gilded Spoon. A man stepped out, dressed in an impeccably tailored three-piece suit that cost more than Clara's monthly salary. He was tall and confident, and his face, now clean-shaven and clear, held an air of absolute authority. It was the old man from the bench. He walked into the restaurant, and this time, nobody dared to stop him. Mark, the manager, practically tripped over himself rushing to greet him, his face plastered with a wide, fake smile. "Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the Gilded Spoon. A table for one." Mark fawned. The man didn't even look at him. His eyes scanned the room, sweeping past the wealthy diners until they found Clara clearing a table in the corner. He walked directly toward her. "Excuse me," he said, his voice now strong and clear. Clara turned, her professional smile at the ready. "Yes, sir, how can I?" She froze, her eyes widening. She recognized those eyes. It was the man from the bench, but it just couldn't be. "Do I know you, sir?" she asked, completely bewildered. He gave her a genuine, warm smile. "You do. Yesterday, you showed a cold, hungry old man a kindness he hadn't seen in a very long time. You bought him dinner when you barely had enough money for yourself." Clara's jaw dropped. Mark, who had followed close behind, looked back and forth between them, his face a mask of pure confusion. I don't understand," Clara stammered. "My name is Arthur Vance," he said calmly. "And I don't just eat at this restaurant, Clara. I own it, along with every other restaurant and hotel in the Vance portfolio." The color drained from Mark's face. He looked like he was going to be sick. The entire restaurant had gone silent, all eyes on the drama unfolding before them. Arthur Vance never took his eyes off Clara. "For the past year, ever since my wife passed, I've felt disconnected. From the world, from the company we built together. I had lost my faith in people. So, I decided to see for myself if the values we founded this company on, dignity, respect, kindness, still meant anything. I went out looking for just one good person." He then slowly turned his head, and his gaze landed on Mark with icy precision. "What I found," he said, his voice dropping, "was a manager who judges people by their clothes. A man who would turn away someone in need just to protect an image. Mr. Vance, I had no idea. I was just doing my job, protecting the brand." Mark pleaded, his voice trembling. "Your job," Arthur cut in sharply, "was to represent the heart of this company. And you've shown me you don't have one. You're a liability, Mark. You're fired." Effective immediately, Mark just stood there, frozen and speechless. Arthur turned back to the still shocked Clara. "And you, Clara," he said, his expression softening again. "You showed me what integrity really is. You acted with compassion when you thought no one was watching, and you expected nothing in return. That is the rarest and most valuable quality anyone can have." He continued, "I'm creating a new position in my company, head of the Vance Foundation, our charitable division. It will oversee millions of dollars in community support. The job comes with a salary that will mean you and your mother never have to worry about another medical bill again. I'm not just offering you a job, Clara. I'm asking you to be my partner in making kindness the focus of this company again. Will you accept?" Tears were now streaming freely down Clara's face. All she could do was nod, unable to speak, as applause broke out from the surrounding tables. This story is a powerful reminder of the ripple effect our actions can have. If you were inspired by Clara's compassion, please share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's spread the message that kindness is a currency that never, ever loses its value. And tell us in the comments below, what's an act of kindness that changed your life? So, what can we take away from the story of Arthur Vance and Clara? The lesson is simple but profound. You never know who you're talking to, but more importantly, it shouldn't matter. Our true character is revealed by how we treat those who can do nothing for us in return. A small gesture of compassion might not seem like much, but it could be the one thing that restores someone's faith in humanity. In a world that often feels cold and judgmental, be the Clara. Choose kindness. You never know whose life you might change. It could even be your own.